Aboard a cruise ship headed from the Caribbean back to Miami, a family vacation would turn into a nightmare as one teen would vanish during the night.
Still no answers.
9 years ago today,
What happened to these two young children?
remains a mystery.
Urgent story unfolding right now. Who is missing? An unsolved murder.
18-year-old Anna Kepner was born on June 13th of 2007 to her father Christopher Kepner and mother Heather Wright. She lived in Titusville, Florida, an intercoastal city along the Indian River, 40 miles east of Orlando. Titusville is also known as Space City, USA, due to its close proximity to the Kennedy Space Center and its integral role in the space program. Anna, also called Anna Banana by family, was described as an adventurous go-getter. She got her boater's license before she could drive, and she was PADI certified to drive alongside her family. She started gymnastics at just 2 years old and continued through her mid-teens, even helping teach younger gymnastics at TBJC as she got older. She attended Titusville High School, where she was a proud member of the varsity cheer team, and later Astronaut High School before finding her home at Temple Christian School, where she was joyfully looking forward to graduating with the class of 2026. Anna was also a thoughtful, nurturing person who was always thinking of others. She filled the world with laughter, love, and light that reached everyone around her. Whether she was practicing new makeup looks, even if she had nowhere to go, making TikToks in front of the mirror, or blasting a perfectly curated playlist on the boat, Anna lived every day with her whole heart. She loved the sun, the water, boat days, island days, and beach days. Anything that let her soak in the light, she so easily radiated to others. She loved her siblings deeply and made sure they always felt it, whether it was taking them to the park, Halloween horror nights, or just out for fun, because that's who she was. Thoughtful, nurturing, and always thinking of others. She had a big, beautiful heart, often sending random I love you messages or little gestures that made someone's day. Anna loved kids, dolphins, butterflies, arts and crafts, and doing puzzles with her Meemaw. She had the best blonde moments, the kind that made everyone laugh, and her famous "I got a poop" joke will always be one her family never forgets. Anna loved all kinds of music, except for heavy metal, and had a soft spot for Shawn Mendes. She was also incredibly determined and hardworking, reliable, responsible, and always willing to help. She supported many local businesses when they needed an extra hand and had big dreams for her future. She even planned to join the U.S. Navy after graduating and had dreams to later become a canine police officer. Her love for sports and team spirit shone through every part of her life. A Georgia Bulldogs fan through and through, just like her family, Anna dreamed of one day becoming a cheerleader for the Bulldogs, sharing her radiant smile and endless energy from the sidelines in red and black. Anna's family tree is quite confusing, so I wanted to break it down first so it makes more sense. Anna's parents are Christopher Kepner and Heather Wright, who would eventually divorce, and this is when he'd marry Tabitha Kepner, the two having 2 children that are Anna's half-siblings. There are a lot of rumors out there surrounding Tabitha. Tabitha's family is actually quite involved with this case, and this may be because in legal documents filed by Christina Donahue on behalf of Tabitha Donahue against Christopher Kepner in 2008, he was being charged with sexual violence. These charges were later dismissed, but there are a lot of rumors going around as to how old Tabitha was when Christopher may have met her, the situation surrounding that, but at this point in time, I have not found any credible sources specifically stating those details, so let me know down below if you know for sure. Her mother Heather also doesn't seem to be in the picture due to choices she may have made in her life and struggles she may be going through, but eventually Christopher and Tabitha would also divorce, and he'd then marry Chantel Hudson, who had 3 children with her ex-husband, Thomas Hudson. In the end, Anna was part of a large blended family with 8 siblings. Out of the 8, she has 2 full siblings, a 14-year-old brother and a 9-year-old sister. At the beginning of November in 2025, Anna and her family headed to Miami to board a Carnival Horizon cruise ship to embark on a 6-day cruise from Miami to the Caribbean. In the group was her father Christopher, her stepmother Chantel, Chantel's 16-year-old son Timothy, and Anna's 14-year-old brother Connor. Their parents had their own cabin, and Timothy, Anna, and Connor were sharing a cabin. Timothy and Connor were set to share a set of bunk beds in the room, and Anna had her own bed. These are two different examples of how cabins can be laid out on Carnival Horizon, depending if you're on an interior room or a balcony room. For what's been shown online, they may have had a balcony room, so this would be how the room would be laid out. Now, a lot of people online are weirded out that Anna was sharing a room with her two brothers, and honestly, I don't really find it that odd if we didn't know other circumstances that we will find out. I don't think it's entirely strange for teenagers to all share a room. I've also seen a lot of people saying that Anna was a child, but she was 18 years old. She was no longer a minor, and her two siblings that she was sharing the room with were 16 and 14. Honestly, as a teenager, I much rather would have hung out with people my age in a cabin than, having to be stuck with adults. So I honestly don't find it that strange. However, with the circumstances we will find out, I can agree that it probably wasn't appropriate. I mean, none of this in the end would be appropriate. According to Carnival rules, they require that guests under 21 travel with someone 25 or older. Kids 14 and under have to be in the same or in a connecting cabin. Teens 15 to 17 can be in a nearby stateroom within about 3 cabins of the adult, and 18 to 20-year-olds can be booked anywhere on the ship as long as they're linked to an adult over 25. And I was actually on this exact cruise ship, the Carnival Horizon, last winter. So I have a really good understanding of how this ship looks because I also went on a 6-day cruise. However, on November 6th, when the ship was somewhere between Mexico and Miami, the ship was actually headed back to Miami. It was the end of the cruise. Anna decided to go to bed early, telling her family that she wasn't feeling very well, and so she went back to her cabin. Now, the surveillance footage hasn't been released yet, but somehow, the media has gotten information regarding it. Keep in mind, this is a modern-day cruise ship. There are cameras literally everywhere on them. According to the information that we know, the footage shows Anna heading back to her cabin. A short while later, Timothy and Connor also returned to the cabin. Footage reportedly shows Connor eventually leaving the room in different clothing, and he was headed off to go take pictures around the ship. This left Anna and Timothy alone in the room. A while later, Connor eventually returns to their room. However, when he gets back, Anna was not there. But he assumed that she had just went off to hang out with other family members and stay up late. The next morning, Chantel and Christopher realized that Anna had missed breakfast, and that's when they began to grow worried. This would launch a massive search of the ship. Her father ran all over the ship looking for her, and eventually he would end up at her cabin where his worst nightmare would begin to unfold. Because at approximately 11 a.m. on November 7th, Anna's naked body would be discovered by a housekeeper under a bed in the kids' stateroom. She was said to be wrapped in a blanket and covered by life vests, according to a security source. And from my experience on that ship, there is a large space underneath the beds. This is so you can store your luggage and other belongings so that they're not just scattered around the room. The rooms are very tiny, so every little bit of space needs to be used for something. It wouldn't be until the following day, though, that Anna would be reported dead while aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship, so on November 8th. And due to the circumstances, the FBI would be brought in immediately. And interestingly, following the discovery of Anna's body, Timothy would actually immediately be hospitalized. Afterwards, he was released to a third-party relative. At first, it was reported that investigators were trying to determine and look for evidence whether there was a fight between Anna and Timothy before her death. Other possibilities included a medical episode or an overdose, which still haven't been ruled out according to public information. However, that is until more information began to trickle through. A preliminary investigation showed that Anna showed signs of asphyxiation, resulting from what is called a bar hold, which is a position where an arm presses against someone's neck. There were also 2 bruises found on the side of Anna's neck. The preliminary investigation also determined that there was no signs of SA that had happened, and that there did not appear to be drugs and alcohol in her system, but I don't think an official autopsy has been released. I've seen a lot of people out there saying that her cause of death was this, which it most likely may have been, but I haven't seen an actual tox report come out. I haven't seen an actual report from a medical examiner. It seems to be this preliminary investigation. Let me know if I'm wrong, if there is more information out there, but from the articles that I have seen and the information I have heard about and read about, that's kind of the baseline at the moment. Now, as I said, investigators began to review surveillance footage from the ship because there are hundreds, probably thousands of cameras on board. So they could track every single movement of what happened that night and who was going in and out of the rooms. They were also able to check the electronic swipe card data because you get these cards when you're on the ship to enter your room. So those cards are going to hold all the information of every single tap you make on that door. Anna's cell phone records would also be analyzed. And when you put all of that information together, the surveillance videos, the timestamps for when the cards were used in and out of the room, and then also the information from her phone when she stopped using her cell phone, they're going to be able to determine a very solid timeline. The FBI, alongside ship security, also began to interview passengers, crew members, and the family. There's also plans to test the life jackets, the blanket, and Anna's body, all of these items that were surrounding her when her body was found, to see if they can get any DNA or any other information from them. Now, with that, however, I don't know exactly how they'd rule out certain individuals with that DNA being tested, if there is DNA even on them, because they were in their room. If I remember correctly, I don't think I ever actually physically touched the life jackets, so I'm not entirely sure if, say, Connor or Timothy's DNA was on those life jackets, if it would be surprising because it was in their room, unless it may be because, again, they're tucked away in a spot where you usually wouldn't touch them. Let me know down below if you ever touched the life jackets when you were on a cruise ship like this, or just a cruise ship in general, if it was in a spot where it wasn't easily accessible, just like out in the room where you'd be touching it a lot. But at the same time, there could be possible transfer DNA from the room, because obviously the teens were all in that room, so they would be touching items in there. That DNA could be transferred to those items possibly that are being found. So all of that is to say, I wouldn't be completely surprised if, say, Timothy or Connor's DNA was on those items, or obviously Anna's. However, if someone else's DNA is on those items, that's where things could get very interesting. But only if it's someone that shouldn't have been touching them. Like the crew member's DNA on those items, I wouldn't be surprised either. But then again, the surveillance footage should also then show some other stranger going into the room. However, I don't think that that's what's going to be shown, or I feel like we would have already known that information. It would have come out already saying this strange individual entered the cabin at this point. Does anyone know who they are? Or, just ruling that out, because at this point, there seems to be one solid suspect. Because here's the thing. There may have been signs long before this that there were issues between Anna and her stepbrother. Anna's ex-boyfriend Joshua claims to have witnessed creepy interactions between the two. I also want to note that the ex-boyfriend is only 15 years old, which I'm not sure when birthdays lie here, but he seems to be friends with Anna's younger 14-year-old brother Connor. To me, 15 and 18 is inappropriate for a teenage couple, but let me know. That's neither here nor there, or really part of this case. Nonetheless, Joshua would reveal that one time when he was FaceTiming with Anna around 3 a.m., Timothy entered her bedroom and tried to climb on top of her. And when Joshua noticed and he yelled out through the phone, Timothy panicked, ran out of the room, and never came back. Joshua, as well as his father, claims that Anna was scared to tell anyone about these incidents that were happening because Timothy carried a large knife.
Did you meet Anna?
Through a past relationship last year.
And how did you actually meet with her? In school?
At school.
At school. What type of person was she?
She was a great woman, I met her at school.
And the circumstances behind her death, you find them to be suspicious? And if so, tell me why.
It was suspicious because I knew that the brother did it, and yeah.
How do you know that?
Because of the past things that happened with him, like I was saying.
Which were what?
About the FaceTime and stuff.
What's the FaceTime?
Whenever I was on FaceTime with her, and when I was on FaceTime with her, and she was laying down, and the brother tried to go on top of her, and
you saw that?
Yeah.
And then, how did she react to that?
I was like, "What the hell are you doing in the room?" Then he got scared and ran away, and I heard his footsteps running through the house, because he got caught.
So when you learned of her passing, what was your reaction?
I ran away. He ran away. It was kind of crazy.
And when you learned that she passed away, how did you feel?
I felt very sad, because that was my first love. She was the best that ever happened to me, and I'd even walk to her work to see her, for 5-10 minutes.
Did you talk with her before her death?
3 weeks before it, yes ma'am. I was actually supposed to go on the cruise that she went on, but we broke up before that.
When did you split?
We split up like 6 months ago.
6 months. Okay.
And everyone said she's just a bright light. So many people wearing bright colors today. How would you describe the kind of person she was?
She was a great person. She definitely knew how to throw on her outfit. She was great, you know. She knew how to put on colors. It wasn't like a basic outfit.
And this is your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
She's okay with you talking to us?
Yeah, but we need to go.
Okay. I just wanted...
Okay.
What should happen next?
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think should happen?
I think that he should get thrown in jail for as long as possible. And yeah.
And when did you move into the house?
I have no idea.
Like a year or two?
Maybe like a year ago. I think so.
You'd
I don't
You'd
know.
like to see justice for
Yeah,
for your
I'd like
first
to
love.
see a lot of justice. Yes,
Has she ever complained about his behavior before?
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay. What did she complain about?
She complained about him being uncomfortable, or her being uncomfortable around him, because of the fact that he tried to go on top of her in the bed, and because of that she tried to go and stay the night at her friend's house and to dodge the staying the night at her house.
So
She
that
ever-
happened more than once?
Yes.
She ever bring that up with
How many
her?
times did that happen?
It happened one time, around like 3 a.m. that night.
That time that you,
reported
when
this?
you were on the FaceTime call with
Yes, sir.
Friend.
Yes.
Did she ever report that to her father?
No, I have not. I reported it to the FBI.
Joshua also claims that he complained to Anna's parents about stuff like this happening, and that Anna had also made complaints about feeling uncomfortable around her stepbrother. But in a more recent interview, Joshua would release even more concerning information. Joshua claims to have spoken to Anna's 14-year-old brother Connor, and he alleges that he told him some very concerning things about what he witnessed right before his sister died. He claims that Connor told him that on the night of his sister's murder, when he tried to get back into their cabin, the door was locked, and that he could hear Anna and Timothy arguing inside of the room, as well as disturbing sounds.
You heard him yelling at her, like in a harmful way, of like shut the hell up and stuff like that. And that's when Connor knew something was going on.
And there was screaming going on.
Yes, ma'am. Like something was like banging around and stuff, and like the chairs were getting thrown around in the room.
My question is, does the security footage show this? Does it prove it? As well as, if this did happen, why didn't Connor go and alert his parents? I will say, however, that we have that other information where the authorities were looking into a fight that may have happened between Anna and Timothy. And now we have this information coming out where Josh was saying Connor claims that he had heard a fight happening. So I'm assuming those two things would be correlated. But then we also have this information about the surveillance footage where Connor goes back to the room and just Anna isn't there and he just assumes she's gone off somewhere. Was there any conversations that happened? What was Timothy like? I have a lot of questions. Chantel's ex-husband, Thomas Hudson, has also spoken out during legal proceedings following this all happening, because those two seem to have a lot of stuff going on in the legal system. They have a lot of custody stuff going on, which I don't think is entirely relevant to this case, so I'm not going to dive all into that. What is relevant, however, is that during a hearing, Thomas claimed that during the cruise, the teens were given alcohol underage. This was refuted, citing videotapes from the ship proved no evidence that the children had been drinking. On top of that, Chantel was also requesting a delay in the custody hearing because one of her minor children may face criminal charges, which is how all of this started coming out as to Anna's stepbrother being connected. And then we have Martin Donahue, who is connected through Anna's first stepmother. He has also come out and posted some very disturbing claims. Keep in mind, these are his own claims. They're alleged. However, some of the information he has kind of points towards other information that we have. In this post, he would write, quote, "I need everyone's help on this. If you haven't heard the story, then you've been living under a rock. This is my niece, Anna Kepner. She was 18 and was on a cruise with her dad's stepmom and other family members. I cannot stay silent about this matter any longer. The stepkid's mom's son killed her, stuffed her naked, beaten body in a sheet and stuffed her under a bed and covered her with life jackets, then slept on that bed like nothing happened. He told his stepmom when no one could find Anna on the ship. So yes, they know who did this, and it sickens me that the father, Chris, remained silent about it. Please pass this on till maybe it gets to someone that can do something about it." End quote. So yes, it does follow the narrative that we are seeing at the moment. However, he does make some bold claims that Chantal knew that, her son had told her what he did. But I do question if he did admit it, why he wasn't arrested. However, immediately after all of this, he was put into a hospital. So there's a lot of very strange circumstances happening. A celebration of life for Anna would be held in Titusville on November 20th.
Anna Banana was we love her, and we forever will love her.
Describe her.
She was energetic, funny.
Former classmates of 18-year-old Anna Kepner speaking out about their friend following her celebration of life ceremony inside the Grove Church on Thursday evening. How would you describe what it was like in there?
Very loving.
Yeah.
Very encouraging. Just to see everybody there supporting each other, like, it was just awesome.
You can definitely tell she left her mark.
The family saying the ceremony was meant to remember laughter and love that Anna brought. The parking lot of the church completely filled. And what was it like to see this entire place was filled all for her?
Yeah. It was amazing, honestly. Like, I didn't think she put her mark on that many people. When I got here, it was already packed and I barely had a seat, and I was just like, I almost cried as soon as I walked in.
Her mother, Heather, claimed to be banned from attending and wasn't even informed by Christopher about Anna's death due to a long history of family tension. This tension included a rocky history between the two and a screaming match exchanged with obscenities between the two when they last spoke. Heather first heard her daughter might be dead from a friend. She then desperately tried to contact Anna on her cell phone or even TikTok, but got nowhere and turned to the internet instead. She hadn't seen her daughter regularly in years after moving to Oklahoma, but was proud of her daughter. That's when she saw reports that a high school senior had been found dead in the cruise cabin she was sharing with her two stepbrothers. From there, she Googled 18-year-old died on cruise ship, and Anna's face popped up. Law enforcement also failed to reach out to Heather, alleging that they still hadn't contacted her in the weeks since Anna died. Heather saying, quote, "My ex-husband did not try to contact me at all whatsoever to let me know my daughter died. He said he knew for a fact Anna would not want me there, and I said, that's a lie, but whatever. He said that if I step foot in Florida, I will have you immediately arrested for back child support. So I wore a wig. I wore some really tall high heels so that if he was looking for somebody short, he wouldn't see me. Nobody spotted me. I kind of stayed in the back close to the door, so if I needed to make a quick getaway, I could. She was a really good child. She never really complained about much. She never really cried that much as a baby, and as a teenager, she was the same. Just always happy. She was always trying to make everybody smile. An extremely happy child." End quote. As of filming this video, no suspects have been publicly named and no one has been arrested. Despite all of these very strange circumstances, you'd think the authorities would have been able to piece this all together by now. There's only so many options, especially when you have solid proof as to who is tapping in and out of the room. You have surveillance footage showing who is coming and going from the room. There's only so many options. So why hasn't there been any arrests yet? Now, I do believe this is a case that they're not trying to rush. They want to be 100% sure, especially if it is a minor they may be arresting. They also want to build a very solid case, I'm sure. But I do believe that a serious crime like this deserves serious punishment. And if the information we do have is true and it is real, according to all of these sources that are coming out, that means that if this 16-year-old boy is responsible for killing Anna, that means that he did that and then slept in that room with her dead body under that bed all night and didn't tell a soul, didn't say a word. And that also means that her 14-year-old brother did the same, not knowing. That is absolutely horrific. I cannot imagine how traumatizing that would be. Traumatizing for that crew member as well to discover her body. There are so many unanswered questions right now. This is quite a fresh case. Seems to not be a lot of solid information out there. There are a lot of people that are in the dark with this as well still. But I think this is a case that needs to be talked about. This is a case where the person didn't just go missing. They were found, but in horrific circumstances. So why is there no justice here yet? Anna's step-grandfather, Christopher Donahue, would take to the media saying, quote, "I don't know why Anna was staying in a room with her stepbrother. The FBI has kept us in the dark, never contacted us. Kepners haven't told us anything. We've learned from Facebook posts that the stepson is a suspect. All I know is that she went on that boat and she never came back. Everyone is heartbroken. There are questions. I don't think we'll ever know. We are living a nightmare." End quote. At this point, if you have any information, please contact the authorities. Anna deserves justice, and Anna deserves justice quickly. If you have any other information on this case, let's chat about it down below. My heart goes out to her family, her extended family, her friends, everyone that knew her, because she truly seemed to be such a light, and she did not deserve what happened to her. She deserved to grow up and become an astronaut or a police officer or whatever she wanted to do in life. But for some reason, that was brutally taken from her. And there are a lot of questions as well if this could have been prevented. So I'll be in the comment section chatting with you all. And as always, I hope you all stay safe out there, lock your windows and doors, and I hope to see you in the next video.